Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers of Cricket Happenings. Welcoming you here is your host Ram to the cricket show, Cricket Happenings, and today on a Sunday. Buddy. So, what I'm going to look at today, one is where West Indies definitely did a good job on the third day to drag the match into the fourth day at 244 for 6. They required another 85 runs to still make the New Zealand bat again, which was a very good effort. I thought it over. Irrespective of whether West Indies suffer an innings defeat or is it going to be New Zealand batting again and winning the match. Definitely, there is going to be an outcome which is going to come on the fourth day. And we also look at how the Australia A team, which was set a target of 472 by the Indian team, managed to draw the match with 2 tons, one for Wildermuth and one for Mcdermott. And I thought that was a super effort from them because definitely the Indian bowlers were really bowling very well. And I thought the Australia bowlers faced the pink ball very well and really came up trumps. So that is something that they'll be happy about. We'll also have a look at the Sri Lanka Premier League semi-finals that happened today, and what a nail-biter that was. It was between Galle Gladiators and Colombo Kings were definitely tipped to be favorites, but today the Galle Gladiators restricted the Colombo Kings to 150 odd, and they won the match with 1 ball to spare. There was absolute drama there with Isru Udana bowling the final over. There was a new hero by the name Lakshan today. There were 2 Lakshans at the crease. One was Lakshan Sandakan, other was Lakshan, but Lakshan was the man of the match. But what a game that was. With 1 ball to spare, 15 runs needed of the last over of the bowling of Isru Udana, and Lakshan goes and completes the formalities to take Galle Gladiators to the first final of the inaugural Lanka Premier League, and will be waiting for the other team, which will be the semi-finals will be taking place tomorrow between Bulla Vikings and Jaffna Stallions. And I have a feeling that Jaffna Stallions would be the ones who will be meeting Galle Gladiators in the final, but one has to wait and watch. But so we'll have a sneak peek, one could say, at the Big Bash League matches that are happening there. So, but first, let's first get on to the second test match. Third day's play between New Zealand and the West Indies. And the West Indies, as I said, were really struggling. And it was just a matter of formality on the third day morning when the West Indies were bowled out for 131. There was nothing to really talk about. It was a 5-wicket back for Tim Southee, who cleaned up the tail. Tim Southee and Jamieson taking 5 wickets apiece, 5 for 32 for Tim Southee and 5 for 34 for Kyle Jamieson. Now, West Indies in their second leg were trailing by a huge margin. And it all started off with Craig Brathwaite it was John Campbell who actually did a good job. The ball was doing all sorts of things. The ball was hooping in and in and around the off stump. It was moving away. It was coming in. So there was a lot for the bowlers, no doubt about it. And definitely it was a very tough examination for the West Indies openers at the crease. But once they passed, but before that, Brathwaite was the first wicket. What a catch by Will Young. I mean, they had a leg gully in place for this particular shot. There was a leg gully which was kept. There was the young debutant, Will Young at the leg gully, and he snapped up the catch. It was really, I will tell you, it was really flicked with lots of force. But I thought it was a tremendous catch from Will Young. Yesterday, if you look at the New Zealand fielding effort, it was something very commendable. We all know that New Zealand is a very good fielding outfit. But yesterday's catch by Will Young was one of the superb. The ball was getting into the ground, millimeters inside. Will Young snapped up the catch to send Craig Brathwaite to the pavilion. Caught Young bowled for 24. But John Campbell did a good job, but after that, Darren Bravo came to the crease. And Darren Bravo definitely in some poor form, even after hitting the first century of the tour, was really walking back to the pavilion very dejectedly for just a boundary, as there was a pitch of a ball which was coming in from Trent Boult, and Trent Boult was looking very dangerous yesterday. than all the bowlers. And there was a pitch of a delivery where Bravo had wanted to defend himself. In fact, Trent Bolt hit that, and the ball rose to a certain height, and Bravo wanted to just defend himself. So he took his gloves, tried to take the glove on the top, and the ball actually hit his glove, popped up in the air, and the catch was taken by Henry Nichols, a very dolly of a catch, and Darren Bravo was gone for 4, and that made the score 41 for 2. And then there was a partnership. But as I said, it was a very time. The bowlers, all Tim Southee, Trent Bolt, Kyle Jamieson, Neil Wagner, everybody were coming onto the West Indies batsmen. But I thought Shamar Brooks and John Campbell, what was very good about John Campbell was that he was able to play the strokes. He's a good hooker and a puller of ball, and he's someone who commits himself to the front foot pretty early in the piece as well. And he was doing well, and he was gaining in confidence. At the other end, Shamar Brooks was also looking confident as he hit Neil Wagner for a lot of force through the side. But Shamar Brooks was a victim. Wagner had his man, one could say, as Watling took the catch of the bowling of Wagner. And Wagner definitely is someone who really gives it back to the batsman. And here he was, the ball kissing the outside shoulder of the bat. And Shamar Brooks, after a good innings of 36, was into the pavilion, which made it 130 for 3. But it was a fine partnership. From 41 for 2, there was an 89-run partnership, which was a very useful one at that, as the score wrote 130. But after that, Roston Chase came in. Roston Chase, obviously under a lot of pressure after taking having a first ball duck. And this time, again, Jamieson was the bowler. But there was a bit of a difference. It was not the rattle of the timber, but this time it was Jamieson getting some extra bounce. It was the bowlers outside the off stump. It was pitching outside off and actually angling into the batsman, but it had some extra bounce. The ball rose, and it was definitely taken chase by an absolute surprise. And the ball had kissed the outside edge of Chase's bat, and the ball had gone behind the wicket. Latham took it in and picked up the catch, and that was Jamieson once again striking, and by Blackwood. But John Campbell, as I said, he played some good strokes, but then finally he succumbed to the bowling of Jason as he dragged the ball outside the off stump, trying to cut the delivery, but not before John Campbell collected his highest test score of 68. He went past his past highest score, so that would definitely be something which he will be very happy about. But so John Campbell has gone pole, Jamieson for 68, 8 boundaries included in that knock. After that, it was Jermaine Blackwood. He was clean bowled by Bolt for 20. As this was something that Blackwood, I don't know whether under the circumstances, that was a shot that was really warranted. The ball was angled across the batsman, and in fact, Jermaine Blackwood wanted to slot the delivery, but it went through his defenses to peg his stumps back. After that, so that was the time the score read 170 for 6. They were in deep trouble at that time. But what a partnership which is still going on due to bad light. The play was stopped, but at the close of play, Jason Holder, the captain, was holding the fort for the West Indians. He was not out on 60, which included 8 fours and 2 sixes. But the man who impressed was Joshua Silva. He looked to be a very compact player. He gave very good support to Jason Holder. And what was good about Joshua Silva, he was very confident about his footwork. He was not half-cocked. He was always meeting the ball with a full front side position. And also when he was defending, going on to the back foot and defending, he was doing well. And he was also able to play strokes of the loose balls. And Joshua Silva was also dealing with the pace and the bounce in a very good manner. And that enabled the West Indians to close the day at 244 for 6, keeping the battle on with another 85 runs needed on the 4th day to make the New Zealanders bat in. As I said, it happened because with Jason Holder would be the key for that. If Jason Holder and Joshua Silva could continue in the same vein that they did yesterday, that would augur well for West Indies, and at least they will have the sort of a satisfaction of making New Zealand bat again. Jason Holder not out 60. Joshua De Silva on impressive 25. Unbeaten runs with 2-4. We all know Joshua De Silva is quite a talent from the West Indies. And 244 for 6. 85 runs still separating them. The bowling, Trent Bolt, as I said, look finishing of the lot yesterday. 3 for 75. 2 for 43 for Kyle Jamieson. 1 wicket for 53 for Neil Wagner. So that's a match situation at the Basin Reserve in Wellington as we go into the 4 days play, where, as I said, definitely, I mean, one knows that if at all, unless, a miracle can be pulled out by the West Indies, which to me looks a very, very big impossibility. But one thing I can say that New Zealand would be probably taking the series 2-0, but one has to wait and watch as to what really get on. So definitely Holder and his partner Joshua De Silva dragging the match into the 4th day, which was a good job. Now, the other match that I'm going to talk about, we are talking about the pink ball match, which was happening between India and Australia. Indian team and the Australia A team. And as expected, the India actually declaring the innings close on the overnight score, thus setting the Australia A team 472 runs for a win. And they were definitely in lots of trouble. So first, let's talk about Joe Burns. Now, Joe Burns, as you know, he's under extreme pressure. Whether there's a lot of speculation going on that Joe Burns will be the opener who will be opening against India in the first ball in the first Test match at the Adelaide Oval, the pink ball day-night Test match, which is coming up on Thursday between India and Australia. But Joe Burns was an early victim. Now, Joe Burns, what he did, he actually had a pronounced stance yesterday. He was trying to have a shuffle towards the off stump. He had probably changed the way he was batting, but that really didn't work as Mohammad Shami got a fuller delivery he was on the move and he wanted to flick the delivery through the leg side, but he was trapped on the pads and up went the umpire's finger and Joe Burns was walking back. And with this after seeing the way Joe Burns got out, I'm sure that Joe Burns might not be the person to open, and we might have 2 new openers, probably Marcus Harris, so there's no Will Pakowski as well. So Marcus Harris will definitely open, that's for sure. Even though Marcus Harris himself failed in this particular match, he was caught by Prithvi Shaw in the slips of the ball. Raj, what a catch taken by Saini. It was this Nick Maddinson is a very aggressive player. The ball was shot outside the off stump, and he tried to slap it through the point region. But I thought it was traveling at knots, but I thought Saini took a good catch, and they were 25 for 3. Alex Carey did a good job in contributing 58 with 7 boundaries. He was a victim of the part-time off spinner Hanuma Vihari. But that was the time the score at 142 for 4. Indians were totally into the match, and the Australia had a very, very arduous task again in front of them with 2 batsmen at the crease, Ben Mcdermott and Jack Wildermuth. But let me tell you, after that, there was nothing that the Indians could do. Indians threw everything at them. Mohammad Shami, Bumrah, Siraj, Navdeep Saini, Hanuma Vihari, Mayank Agarwal, Prithvi Shaw, the part-time bowlers. Everything was thrown at them. But the Australia A team, these 2 players, Ben Mcdermott with 107 not out, with 16 boundaries, and Jack Wildermuth getting his maiden century in first-class cricket of 111 of 12 hits, on a magnificent partnership, one could say, because if you look at it, it is a 160-odd partnership, unbeaten runs to help the Australia A draw the match, and that was the end of the match. The match was drawn. Shami had 2 wickets, 1 wicket piece to Siraj and Hanuma Vihari, and the match was all done. But what a match we had. But what this pink ball match has told us right now is that looking into this pink ball match, the tour match that happened, where the Australia A definitely did a good job, is the fact that the pink ball, when in the morning, it really swings a lot. There's a lot of movement, and after that, it slows down. It becomes a bit slower. It becomes easier for the batsmen to play their strokes. And then what we noticed was that towards the end, when the lights are put and the twilight time is there, the ball again starts talking. So this is something that the Indians would have seen. but I thought that is something that they could really look into it, and probably they could look into the strategy, and probably this is the strategy that the Indians might be trying to see how they can really scheme things and see how they go against the Aussies in the first day-night test match at the Adelaide Oval, the pink ball. I thought it was a very good rehearsal for the pink ball test match. Other than that, some news, I will come to that. Babar Azam, the Pakistan captain, has been ruled out of the T20 series against New Zealand, which is a bitter blow for them after he suffered a broken thumb during his training. But from now, first I will get to the Big Bash. But before going to the Big Bash, let's go into this match between Colombo Kings versus the Galle Gladiators. This was the first semi-finals of the Sri Lanka Premier League. And have a look at it. Colombo Kings, as you know, is a very powerful team. They have done a great job to reach the semi-finals. They have a very good composition. That today, unfortunately, it was not their day. And I thought full credit to the, and also full credit to the bowlers, the Galle Gladiators bowlers. If you see, Nuwan Tushara, who has that slingy action like Lasit Malinga, bowled a superb spell. 4-7. Lakshan, who was the man of the match today, 4 overs no made and 2 for 27 for him. Sandakan 3 for 32. Amir none for 26, 1 for 21 for Achige, and Jayasuriya 1 for 15. But looking at the batting card, the only man who really impressed and really got these Colombo Kings to get to a respectable score of 150 for 9 was none other than the Daniel Bell Drummond, who played a nice innings of 53 deliveries, which included 7 fours and 3 sixes. Other than that, in fact, they definitely did. Today it was Lairu Udana and Dinesh Chandimal opening the innings. Daniel Bell Drummond, as I said, was the highest scorer. Angelo Matthews failed with the bat. He was got for 6. Andre Russell could not do much after slapping 11 of 6 balls with 1 4 and 1 6. Fell a victim to the bowling of Sandakan. Priyanjan 5. I'm not going to go into the details there. Isru Udana in the end slapping 19. But as I said, the score was never looking at. But Galle Gladiators, definitely it was a real struggle for them. They were reduced to 98 for 6 at one stage in the 14th over, and it looked like all was lost for the Galle Gladiators. It's going to be a very difficult task for them. Also, let us speak about the fielding. The fielding left a lot to be desired, even though I thought the Gladiators won the match by 2 wickets. As you know, final over, the batsman at the crease was Lakshan, but Lakshan was very, very impressive. Sandakan also contributed, but Lakshan was the man who took them to victory with some big hits. He hit Isru Udana for a 6 and taking 15 runs of the over, taking them home, and Galle Gladiators beating the Colombo Kings by 2 wickets with 1 ball to spare to take the Galle Gladiators into the first semi-finals of the inaugural Lanka Premier League. And if you look at the card there, Danushka Gunatalaga, who was the mainstay of this particular Galle Gladiators batting lineup, was dismissed for just 13 runs, but that didn't really matter. In the end, there was victory. Ashan Ali was out for naught. The captain, Bhanuka Rajapaksa, played a fine little knock of 33 of just 17 deliveries, which included 3 fours and 2 sixes. Azam Khan, the son of Moin Khan, the coach of the Galle Gladiators team, contributed 21 of 13 deliveries, which included 3 fours and 1 6. Azam Khan seems to be definitely somebody like a replica of his father, Moin Khan, who used to play in his heyday when Moin Khan was a very dangerous bat. He could really throw the bat at the ball. Jayasuriya 22, and as I said, it was all excitement in the final over. 15 runs required, and it was Lakshan, not a knock from Dhananjaya Lakshan, not out 31 of 23, 2 fours and 1 6. Also did well with the ball, and he took the man of the match award. Sandakan was out for 4. And as Matthews, the captain, was very dejected when he was speaking after the match, that he said, if you are going to drop 5 to 6 catches, it's going to be Quais Ahmed. Unfortunately, dropped 2 catches in the final bend, and that really put paid to their hopes there. Matthews 1 for 17, Priyanjan 2 for 42, 1 for 36 Chamira, 1 for 27 Qais Ahmed, Dikshila De Silva, Dhananjay Lakshan was named man of the match. So what a match we had. And so as I said, Jaffna Stallions and Dambulla Vikings will be clashing out in the second semi-finals. And I'm sure, for me, Jaffna Stallions would be the favorites for me to get into the final against Galle Gladiators, but probably the Dambulla Vikings might prove me wrong. I hope they do. Had a match between the Sydney Scorchers taking on the Melbourne Renegades, and the Sydney Scorchers rooted the Sydney Scorchers made 205 for 4 with Short making a wonderful contribution. It was Sydney Sixers who backtracked. Josh Phillips was the one who smashed 95 runs. Jordan Silk was an attractive little innings from Jordan Silk of 45 not out, as the Melbourne Renegades had absolutely no answer to the Sydney Sixers bowlers, as they were bowled out for just 60 runs, with Ben Dwarcius picking up 4 wickets for 13 runs, and the Sydney Sixers having a huge win over the Melbourne Renegades, as they won the match by 145 runs in the Big Bash League. The other match that happened, I'm just going to get into that right now, and the other match that happened was those Hurricanes. Well, this was a match. I'm just trying to see whether this match was played, or was it the 5th match? Well, this was played yesterday, where DRC Short made 72, where Rashid Khan received some cavalier treatment from DRC Short in his 72 when he slammed him for 3 sixes in a single over. Rashid Khan, who never had such a treatment, and bowled the costliest over of BBL history for himself, Rashid Khan, conceding 25 runs. Other than that, I'm trying to see whether there's any other cricket news that I could really talk about, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. There is nothing else. Dasun Shanaka has said that the Sri Lankan Premier League is something very, very vital for the Sri Lankan cricket's future, which bridges the gap between the domestic and international cricket. And well said, Dasun Shanaka. Joe Denley is replacing Tom Banton, who opted out. So he will be joining the Brisbane Heat team in the Big Bash League. And other than that, the Under-19 Men's World Cup qualifying events will be starting in June 2021. The Indian domestic trophy, the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy, the new year will kick off the Indian domestic season with the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy starting, and after that will be the Ranji Trophy, I reckon. Well, dear fans and subscribers, it was a pleasure bringing you the Cricket Happening show today. Hope you all loved this broadcast. And as I said, that's all for the present. And we will be looking. I don't think. Probably I will try to see whether I can connect with you tomorrow. Again, it's going to be a stiff ask, but I will still find out. Probably late in the evening. Probably I come back from my work or something. I will probably try to do a short show. Well, dear fans, subscribers, it's all over as far as Sun Happening show is concerned. I hope you all loved it and look forward to seeing you once again. And this is your host, Ram, really, really signing off right this on a Sunday. Thank you.